Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda and this is Confidence Mindset with Amanda. So this video is going to be a first-hand example of how your specific person conforms to your affirmations. And it is a first-hand example from my perspective, from my own experience of conforming to someone's affirmation or thoughts about intending for me to do something. Now, this particular person was a client of mine, and I had recently emailed them about continuing on with coaching, as they had only participated in half of it and they were entitled to more. So I was just following up with the coaching. And so they had updated me. It was a month since we had spoken. They had updated me and told me that they have been doing really well. And they explained to me, because they were doing so well in their mindset, they decided that they would intentionally think about me changing the background of my videos. Now, they had this thought that the background of my videos were a bit too bright and it was disrupting them when they were watching it at night. And so, because they said they were a regular viewer of my channel, they intended that I would change the background. Now, this is unknown to me because this was after I had emailed the client. And so, on the particular day that I actually emailed the client, that was actually one day that I was in my apartment and I was actually trying to find the best sitting for a background. Now, I had previously filmed in my apartment in one of the rooms, and that was the room I was intending to stick with. So I went into that room and I had set up for filming, but however, there was noise outside and I just felt like it just wasn't going to be the right place to be filming. And so then I went and looked for somewhere else in my apartment that I could set up to film. And so I settled on a place, but when I settled on the place, I noticed that the lighting was very strong behind me. It was the sun shining in, and in my apartment I like all the space, so I never close the doors. I have all the clothes on, or I have all the doors open on door stoppers, because I like the space. And so this particular time though, the bathroom door was opened, and so the sun was shining in from the window, and I decided then to get up and close the door, which I never do, and so that the lighting would be better for the background of my video. So this person had been intending for me to change the background of my video. Now, I usually film in a different premises, so it's not even in my apartment. But however, this person, this client of mine, actually sent me the two videos that they had compared. So the two videos that they actually sent me were both filmed in my apartment. So it wasn't even about the fact that I actually moved from a premises. So the first video they said was a bit bright and they had intended for me to change the background. But what they didn't know was that I actually filmed both videos in my apartment. I just changed the room. So the process that I went through for, like, nobody has free will in your reality, okay? So I didn't have free will in their reality. I had to act upon the intentions that they were putting out. And so on a first-hand experience of what your specific person is going to be going through when you are affirming for them, they may not have the specific affirmation or whatever that you are affirming. Maybe they will, but however, they'll go through this whole process in their mind of just having to do what it is, if you get what I mean. So I obviously didn't know that this client was intending for me to change my background, but I still went through this whole process of finding a space in my apartment, a different space in my apartment, so that the background was going to be okay for filming. I never closed doors in my apartment. The sun was shining in and I just felt, maybe it's a bit too bright. I will close the door so the sun is not distracting the filming. And so then I settled on a place that had less lighting. And this is all my idea. This is before I even emailed the client. When I emailed the client later on about following up on coaching, this is when they explained to me that they were doing well and that they must be, because they were intending for me to changed the background and it worked. Obviously it worked because, everyone is you pushed out and nobody has free will in your reality. The law of assumption is real, but it just shows you that how thought transmission can be fast as well too when you are in your stable state of being. And so this is why even in my last video, I was saying the importance of enjoying your life, knowing that your manifestation is going to come to you, because it's like you may not know it, but we are living in this whole kind of wave. And I do talk about quantum physics a bit on my channel, like, the whole quantum field and everything, because there is a kind of a wave going on that we are all connected to. So if you want to look at, say, a signal for a radio or whatever, if there is a strong wind coming through and it's pushing against the signal, the signal, there's going to be interference in the signal. And this, from my perspective anyway, I know we can sit down and we can affirm for something all day, every day or whatever, just to get the affirmation in. But if this is too much, it's going to cause resistance and it will cause a little bit of interference when it comes to the manifestation, because this is just from my perspective. Maybe people can sit there and say, text me, and then it happens straight away or whatever. And yes, that can happen, but sometimes that happens because you don't have the resistance of it happening anyway, if you get what I mean. Like, you could have a bigger resistance to them showing up at your doorstep, and you could be saying, they're showing up at my doorstep, they're showing up at my doorstep, showing up at my doorstep. And because you're you're focusing on it too much, that's where you're kind of creating the resistance. I know I don't believe in letting things go, obviously, but I believe that, when we are in too much distress, we create this kind of obsession that is causing us to go around in circles. And there's no need to do that, because everything we want is ours. It already exists within us. All we're doing is building the belief and confidence within ourselves to sort of line up to the whole reality of it. Remember, your 3D is all the physicality of where you are on your mindset, your subconscious, and circumstances in that you may have been dwelling on, that ultimately recreates it and projects it back to you in your reality. But when you get into conscious manifesting, you're changing this with your thoughts. However, back to the thought transmission. Now, I have found myself personally, for me, when I am in a more stable state of being, thought transmission happens instantly. And I had another example of this the other day. I was back in my local town and I was in the supermarket, and this old friend of mine was working behind the till, and there was a few different tills, and so they were working on this side. I ended up on this side, and so their back was turned to me. But in my mind, I was saying hello to them. So in my mind, I was just going, hello, whatever their name was. And a second I did that, they turned around and went, hello, Amanda. And, just instant like that, like I actually verbalized it. But what I noticed on that particular day was I was really relaxed in my state of being. And I find that, like, this is not the first time this happened to me before, just getting into conversations with even new people, and that you would have a thought and all of a sudden you would find yourself talking to them or whatever. But it's because you're in that kind of, the signal is clear. When the signal is clear, it reaches it straight away. And this is what we're doing then with the manifestation. So when I say let go, like I was saying the other day, I don't mean let go of your manifestation. I mean let go of the stress, because you have to do the repetition to get into that embodiment of who you are as that person who has what you want. I mean, it can be no other way. You're changing neurons in your brain. And so once you're changing the neurons in your brain, you're going to have to do repetition. You're going to have to change the beliefs, but you can only do this through repetition. But the repetition is not sitting there every second of the day and affirming 24/7 and then being afraid to go out or do anything in case it messes up with all your affirming, because that's not even the way. Because you could even just be affirming for a couple of days and it could show up for you. It depends on it depends on the importance that you're putting on it. So if you could make things, I know that it's it's not even that easy to do, but if you can make things a little less important in your life, so just look at all your manifestations as a given, know that they're going to happen, affirm for them, but be affirming for them because you know that this is how they're unfolding, because you're changing the physicality with your thoughts. And So I wanted to kind of make that point especially when this client said that they were doing a lot better in their mindset. Because they were doing a lot better in their mindset, they had intended for me to do this and to change the background, and it happened pretty quickly because they're a lot better in their mindset, so it's more connected, if you get what I'm trying to say. Now, another thing as well too, because I thought this was kind of cool, like, you know, from a first-hand experience, to explain how your specific person is always going to conform to what it is that you are affirming for, because they don't have free will. It's like I didn't have free will in that client's world, because I had to conform to exactly what they wanted to, that what they were intending for me to do. But however, because I found this story cool, I emailed them again and I asked them if I could create a video on the basis of this story. And when they emailed me back, they actually said that was one of their intentions as well too, that how about, you know, that I would create a video sharing their experience. Now, this again is me picking up on their intentions and conforming to exactly what they are thinking in their mind. And this is what, and see, I think this is my idea. I'm coming up with this idea and I'm thinking it's my idea, but it's not, because they've thought of it first. You know, this is the thing about your specific person. They're going to think it's your idea when they are reaching out to you, or maybe they go to a specific place that they know that you're going to be, or they do something that is going to bring them to you because on the basis of what you had been affirming. Now, I do know that, yeah, you can manifest things by affirming, because that's really what persistence is affirming in an enjoyable kind of way from my perspective. I don't think that you have to sit there 24/7 and affirm for what it is that you want, because from my perspective, you're affirming just to gain it really quickly, and you're focusing on the time. And when we do this, then we kind of create more time. And so I would just recommend that you build the beliefs and confidence within yourself, and then you kind of affirm for what it is that you want. But you affirm for what it is that you want because you know that it's already yours, not because it's that important that you have to achieve it, if you get what I mean. It's like, you know that your world is conforming to you and what thoughts that you have, and it's you that's deciding how everything unfolds for you. So if you're the boss and you're deciding how everything unfolds for you, well, then you don't sit there and worry that it's not going to happen. You just kind of get into the known. Now, I know sometimes when we first get into conscious manifesting, it's not as easy to get into the known, but this is where the repetition comes in. But the repetition comes in as I mean, you can confirm robotically to get it in as well too. But let's say, for example, you're studying for an exam and you cram it all in the night before, and then you do the exam or whatever, and you get it all, say you do the exam or whatever, and you get it all down, you write it down and you pass the exam, do all them things. But 9 times out of 10, you won't even remember what you learned because you just crammed it all in, if you get what I mean. So it's like, you may have passed exam and all that, but I'm saying, like, you know, after a year or whatever, you think back of that exam, you think, God, I can't even remember what that was about. But when you are reprogramming your subconscious mind, you want to have the beliefs to be sitting in your subconscious mind so that you are maintaining and sustaining what it is that you want. And I find that when we affirm, say we take 10 minutes or more out of our day to actually specifically affirm for what it is that we want, and then we kind of move on and continue with our day, I think that's more effective in hitting the subconscious mind quicker, because you're taking the breaks. It's like you're taking this little bit of break. And so when you do this, then, as well as keeping on your mental diet, of course, you don't want to be going, you know, affirming for something and then going backwards all day thinking, where is it, and all this kind of thing. No, you want to be affirming, you're changing your mindset. So you want to be using your mental diet as well too. But I just mean that you don't have to be affirming all day robotically for what it is that you want, if you get what I'm trying to say. So I wanted to make that point, and I also wanted to make that point about the free will. There is no free will, and I did write down an example of what Spinoza said, philosopher, about free will, but I think it's kind of irrelevant because we kind of already know that there is no free will anyway. But yeah, so I just wanted to make that quick video about how your specific person is going to act. You know, they're going to pick up on what it is that you want them to do. And so all you have to do is just relax, know that it's happening, continue with your affirmations, but continue in a way that you're not, overly obsessive about it. Because remember, it's all about you. You're your number one priority. And when you obsessively think about getting something, it's like you're taking yourself down a bit, because you're not believing in yourself. You're not giving yourself all that faith and knowing that you can achieve exactly what you want. And look, we're human, we all do this, because we can suffer from anxiety, and we can suffer from doubt and all that type of thing, because we're human. But all we have to do is pick ourselves back up and know that we're going to get what we want. It's like, when a baby's starting to walk, I mean, a baby falls down and keeps getting back up because it knows it's going to eventually walk. And that's exactly what we do. So when we waver, when we get anxiety and all them things, just take a step back and say, I'm just going to affirm for my self-concept today, and then I'll get back on my specific affirmations tomorrow. It's not going anywhere because there's no separation. I'm creating this. This is my world, and I decide. And there's an example there of how everybody conforms. I had to conform to what that client was intending. And even when I followed up with another email to ask if I could use the example, that was also one of their intentions as well too. And I conformed to it all the while thinking it was my idea. So I'm going to leave that video there, and I will chat to you soon.